Hi guys, so today I wanted to do a quick video. It's pretty impromptu, but I was just answering tickets on my support desk, or emails, I call them tickets, very technical. Answering emails on my support desk, and I couldn't believe the amount of emails that I've been responding to since we did a launch in March, and during that launch a lot of new people came on board inside our programs and things like that. And with that came a lot of emails from new people that had just sort of discovered what I was doing and didn't really know me, and then heard about my story about how, you know, I quit my job and I left the UK, and then they were just, it's been so busy with emails about people talking about their fear, and their fear of not being able to make things work, their fear of not getting clients, their fear of not making any money, their fear of failing, some people say they're terrified of it not working out, of something going wrong. And I really wanted to talk to you guys about fear, okay, because there's two types of fear. There's, in my opinion, this is like my opinion, I'm not preaching this or anything, but in my opinion, there are two types of fear. There is fear that's healthy, and there is fear that is unhealthy. Now, when I left and I did what I did, the moment I realized I'd made the right decision, and I knew that I liked my life better, the fear that I had was going back. And that's what I consider healthy fear. It's a fear that I would have to go back to my old life, that I would have to go back to the UK, that I would have to go back to the 9 to 5, that I would have to go back to the horrible rain that is in the UK. It was just this really driven fear, the drive of the fear to not go back. And that is a fear that kept me moving forward. However, there is another type of fear, the fear of loss, the fear of lack, the fear of failure, the fear of things not working out, and that will inevitably cause things to not work out. You know, whatever you're fearing, if you're fearing it from a place of negativity, you know, you put a lot of emotion into that feeling. It's in that thought, it's like, you know, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen? But you're not going to die, you're only starting a business. And I think what people don't realize, they cannot realize, is that the more you focus on the fear and talking about the fear and the failure, and the more energy you put into that, the more energy you're putting into actually failing, into the act of actually failing and making that fear come true. The more you focus on it, the more you tell yourself that it's a possibility, that it could happen, the more likely it is to happen. So that is the unhealthy fear. The unhealthy fear is being afraid of moving forward. The healthy fear is being afraid of going back. The healthy fear will drive you forward. The unhealthy fear will drive you backwards. That's the simplest way I can put it. That is how it works. So if you want to go backwards, be afraid of all the things that are going to prevent you from moving forwards. Be afraid of not having any money, be afraid of not getting clients. You can be afraid of all these things, and you can put all your energy and time into absorbing yourself into being afraid of them, and then that's exactly what will happen. You have to make a conscious choice. You have to make a conscious decision here about what you want, and then be afraid of not achieving that, but not in a sense of being afraid of specifically, being afraid of having to go back. It's like taking the first step and just to keep moving forward, because you're so afraid of what potentially is on the other side that you just keep moving forward. In my opinion, that's like a healthy fear. I did not want to go back to my old life, so I would tell myself constantly, there has to be a way forward, because failure is not an option. There is no option for me. There has to be a way forward. There has to be a client that's going to come from from somewhere. There has to be income that's going to come from somewhere. There has to be a way that I can keep traveling. There has to be a way, that's the mindset that sort of healthy fear puts you in. There has to be a way. There's no choice. Whereas the unhealthy fear or the unhealthy mindset that you end up going into with, oh, I'm never going to get a client, what if this doesn't happen, all you're doing is inviting probabilities to occur that you really don't want to occur. And this is like, self-development 101. This is the one thing that everybody should know when they're trying to start a business, when they're trying to move forward with their lives, when they're trying to make change, when you're trying to make real impactful change on your life. I'm not talking about little changes, I'm talking about big ones, life changes. And I see so many people all of the time playing with this, playing with I want a better life, playing with I want change, playing with I want to start a business, playing. Playing is not going to get you where you want to be. Fucking doing it is going to get you where you want to be, and doing it despite all the fear, and doing it because you're going to do it or you're going to die trying. There's no option. Making the options of failure not there anymore. And when they're not there anymore, and you truly believe that, then you will have a path to move forward. And that kind of trust and faith and belief that you can put in the act of moving forward is what's going to make you successful at this. And I really didn't know that at the time. When I left the UK, I really didn't understand how the world worked, and that what I was doing was actually contributing to how my life was going to be. But the more I focused on what I wanted, and the more I focused on that anything less than that, it just wasn't an option, then the more things seemed to happen for me. I told everyone that I was going to be a virtual assistant. Nobody knew what that was. Heck, I don't think I even knew what it was when I started. But somehow there was something that drove me to really make me want to own my life, take responsibility and take ownership for it, and not think that things come by chance, that I'm beholden to luck, and whether other people decide to take a chance on me and things like that. I mean, it's crazy to live your life just thinking that other outside factors control it, when you're the one that controls it. What can I say beyond this? Just keep focusing on what you want. Have fear. Make sure it's healthy fear. If it's not healthy fear, you've got to really address that. You want to say to yourself, okay, for God's sake, I'm afraid about not getting clients. Yes. Why am I afraid about not getting clients? I don't know. Do I know anybody who's started a VA business who's failed? Probably not. And if they have, what kind of mindset they're in. You've got to start questioning your fears. You've got to start questioning them and thinking to yourself, well, hang on a minute. Why do I feel this afraid about this? What's going on? What personal experience do I have to base this on? If you've never started a VA business and you're afraid of starting a VA business and you're afraid of not getting clients, you have no personal experience to base that on whatsoever. So just get the personal experience, see what happens first before you start feeling afraid of all the things that potentially might go wrong. Because there is so much that can go right in so many ways. You can surprise yourself with how much can go right if you simply allow yourself to believe in the possibility that things can go right. If you stop putting all your energy and your focus into all the things that could possibly go wrong. Because you're ordering it, you're asking for it. Taking responsibility is saying, this is the path I have chosen. This is what I intend to do. So I'm going to get on and do it. And if I'm afraid, I'll deal with it. If things go wrong, I'll deal with it. If I have obstacles, I'll deal with them. I'll learn from them, and then I'll get better. And the more you keep doing that, it's inevitable that you'll succeed, particularly if you're not focusing on the fact that you might not. I really hope this helps you guys, honestly. I really don't know how to convey this any better. Fear is the deciding factor about whether you succeed or not. So listen to yourself. If you're telling yourself you're afraid of XYZ, you know, say to yourself, do you really want that to happen? If you don't, stop telling yourself you're afraid of it. You know, stop putting all that energy and focus into things like that. Do something different. Distract yourself. Distract yourself from those horrible thoughts and feelings that could potentially cause you to fail. I want you to succeed. I really do. Nobody should have to live that crappy life that I was living, 10, 11 years ago. So, if you want change and you think that starting a VA business or starting any kind of business is going to bring about that change for you, make you happy, why would you put all that fear into the one thing that could potentially change your life and make you happy? I don't know. I guess because you want it so badly, but that, wanting it badly should bring you to focus on, at the point when you have it, how things are going to be for you. You can just focus on that. Let go of the negative fear that's keeping you from moving forward. Focus on the fear that's going to keep you moving forward and not go backwards. It worked for me. It really did. And that leap of faith, that is also another huge factor. So many people say, oh, I'm not going to do it until I've got the money, or I'm not going to do it until I'm financially stable, or I'm not going to do it until, I'm in a position where I can quit my job, or I'm not going to leave my country until I've got all my ducks in a row and I can afford to live somewhere. And, God, if you keep doing that, you will never get anywhere, because there is never any right time. There's no perfect, everything's all set, everything's in place, I'm ready to move forward, because you'll always think of something to hold you back, because that's what fear does. It's a design. Fear is a design, a beautiful creative design, which has the power, this kind of power over you, that will either cause you to move forward or cause you to move back. So, healthy fear, unhealthy fear, be aware of them both. Be aware about what they can potentially do to you, and be aware that it's you also. Don't sabotage yourself by thinking the worst. Why would you do that? We're so conditioned to think the worst all the time. I was somebody who always thought the worst. I was somebody who would always plan for disaster, and then disaster probably happened, because I'd planned for it. Why plan for disaster unless you're expecting it? Anyway, rant over. I really hope this helps you guys. I can't tell you, I've been sitting here plucking grass out and it's all over me. It's like, I must get this message to the world. Even if this just reaches one person, it's so important to understand this detail about life, about starting a business, about changing things, about traveling, about starting a family, about anything. The more you focus on what you're afraid of happening, the more likely it is to happen. The more you can try and divert that focus and think, well, actually, if this didn't happen, things will be much worse. So move forward. Just keep moving forward. Whatever challenge arises, you'll deal with it. You will handle it. Whatever needs to come from this, whatever needs to come, will come, providing you stick with it. Don't let yourself down. Be responsible. Be in charge. Take control. Because you are the one in control, nobody else. This is Michelle Dale, Virtual Miss Friday, signing out after my little pep talk. And